All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. It's Pastor Dow coming at you with another video here. I actually been thinking, and what I'm getting ready to say to you is very powerful, but I need for you to listen, okay? Listen to me very, very closely. Many times in life, you know, people are always looking for the hoary-headed people. Now, for those of you who are not biblically literate, what that means is the wisdom of the age, or those of us who have gray hair in our head and on our beard. Sometimes that speaks for wisdom, but aged men are not always wise. And that is the truth, just because they have gray hair on their face. So listen to me very closely. I can give you great advice, but don't follow my example. Boy, that flies right in the face of a lot of things though now, don't it? But listen to it very closely. In order to give good advice, that means you first had to be a partaker of bad experiences. That means you first had to been there and you had to have done that in order to be a man of wisdom to provide good advice. You have to understand, in life, people, they sincerely make honest mistakes. If there's a such thing as honest mistakes, or let's just say they don't want to sin, but they end up sinning. All right? Not making excuses, because as long as someone turn around after repentance and meet the conditions of bringing forth the fruit, and then, you know, once you confess and you bring forth the fruit, then the sin is wiped off. It's thrown off into the depths of the sea, never to be remembered again. And there's not a just man or a just woman on this earth that does good and sinneth not. Now, we will all love to think that we've been perfect beings, and we will want to be perfect beings, because after all, if we're going to give advice to the younger generation, those who are interested in actually bringing forth good fruit in life, we want to be a positive influence and a positive example. Now, our problem with my generation is, and with people like me is that we didn't have anybody in front of us that taught us anything. So therefore, we've had to go and make the mistakes, and then we had to experience the pain of those mistakes in order to speak with some clarity and some intelligence for those of you that's younger. And that's probably the reason why that even though we're all afraid of judgment, and that's just the truth. And we're not afraid of judgment because we don't want to come to judgment. We're afraid of judgment because of the unjust attitude and the unjust ways and the unjust feelings and emotions that's inside the minds of fallen man. So when Paul says, you follow me as I follow Christ, look at everything he had to go through first. Look at everything that anybody who has any wisdom whatsoever at all in his life, look at what they all had to experience and all they had to go through in order to give you wisdom, which is basically applied knowledge. So I can give you advice, but don't follow my example. You can follow my example and follow me as I follow Christ, and I'm putting everybody in that box who has any experience whatsoever at all. You can follow me as I follow Christ because now you can see the example sitting in front of you. So in my generation, it's obvious that we didn't have anybody before us that's gonna blaze the pathway and show us how this thing ought to be done. There's many things that are written, but there's little that is understood. But the younger generation is coming after us that have us for an example. Now, after that experience, you can follow us as we follow Christ, and hopefully that will save you a lot of pain, a lot of undue stress, time, energy, and effort in those areas. So that's how that a young man can mend his ways, because he can take heed to the word of Yah. So I hope that I've said something to bring about some type of encouragement, some type of exhortation, some type of comfort as we're getting ready to face the weekend here. Pass this video along. Maybe it would help someone out. That is my prayer. Shalom, shalom. Have a good day. King coming.